Hello everyone, welcome to the Canadian Edge. Time for another knife review, and the knife on the table today is the CRKT LCK Plus. Now there's a couple different versions of this knife. There's the large version, there's this knife, and there's the Ruger CRKT combination version of this knife. This is the CRKT LCK Plus. So this is the compact knife, and apparently that's what the LCK means, is a lightweight compact knife. If I'm wrong on that, you feel free to correct me, but that's what I was told in my research. So Matthew Lurch design, he's made a few knives apparently for CRKT, and he's come up with this simple design for a knife, and actually works pretty good. So let's take a look and find out what this knife offers. It has a blade length of 3.31 inches. Open, it is 7.74 inches long, and closed, it is 4.16 inches. The steel on it is the 8CR 13 MOV, and the weight on this is 2.8 ounces. The handle is glass reinforced nylon, GRN, and it doesn't have, well, yeah, I guess it doesn't have any liners on the inside except for the liner lock that's attached there. The pocket clip on this, it is a right hand deep carry tip up, and you can see that the knife lines up nicely down the middle and looks good there. It is an open design, except for at the back there is a bit of a spacer there, so you do have mostly open spine, and no lanyard hole, but not the biggest deal. It is flipper opening, and you can see it does have a fairly decent flipper on there. It sticks out quite a bit, so it is easy to get a hold of. And as I said, it is a liner lock, so you got the liner in there to lock it up, and it locks up down the middle there. Helps if I hold the knife so you can actually see it, and it's pretty easy to operate. Now this does have the IKBS ball bearing pivot system that CRKT is known for, so the pivot on it is quite nice, and it does have a finger choil here, which allows you to have a bit of a different grip depending on what you're doing with the knife, but you can see it's a nice big choil there, and allows you to put a finger there. You still got to be careful though, because the cutting edge is right there, so I don't know how much I would actually use that, but and there is jimping on the liner lock and on the flipper tab to allow you to get your finger on there and open that up. So yeah, this is a interesting knife from CRKT. I think they're fairly recent to the market. I could be wrong on that, but I know the stores that I deal with have just got them in not too long ago, so I don't think they've been on the market all that long, maybe a year or so, a couple of years. I could be wrong. I should have checked before I mentioned that, but they're new to me. I hadn't seen them until just recently, and so I thought I'd check it out, and I actually quite like the knife. It's not too bad of a knife. It's got a simple design, so the aesthetics are simple. It has a little bit of design on the handle there that helps with grip and also gives you a little bit of aesthetics. And they've got the 3 screws back there to hold the spacer in, and that helps with aesthetics. And they did a nice cap over top of the pivot screw to give it a little bit more aesthetics. So those all add to the simple design to make it look a little nicer. And the blade is quite a nice. I like the blade. It has the swedge up here on the top to give it a better look too. So yeah, it's a good looking knife. The ergonomics on it, they aren't too bad. I'd say middle of the road compared to some of the knives that I've had, and it's a comfortable grip on it. The slim design, the pocket clip screws, one thing makes me happy. It is a deep carry, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but the screws are flush. They're actually countersunk, so they're down a bit from the scale, and so you don't have any extra wear and tear on the pocket from the screws sticking up and gripping on your pocket. And it fits in the pocket really nice. Been carrying it here the last week, and it sits in the pocket really good. The only thing you sometimes notice when you do put your hand in your pocket, not very often, is it does have, as Nick Shabazz would say, he calls him a pocket pecker. So you do notice that a little bit, but nothing that you can't work past. And as far as sharpness, we'll test it out, do the paper here. The 8CR usually, well, this one isn't quite as sharp as some of them. This one might need it. Yeah. It not going through the paper all that well. We'll try the old zip tie, zap strap. See how that works. It'll probably try and ride up the blade because of the shape of the blade. Oh, no. No, it cut through that pretty easy. And through this cord, oh, cuts through that. Okay, it does have an edge on it. It just doesn't like my paper for some reason. Yeah, cuts through that, no problem. Let's see what it does. I got a bit of cardboard here. Oh, it slices into that easy enough. Cuts that. So you could slice cardboard fairly easily with it. So I guess it does have a bit of an edge on it. And size-wise, we'll do a comparison, and should clean my blade once in a while. We've got the Ontario Rat 2 and the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. So it does have a little more blade length than these two knives, and I'm just going to change my camera angle because sometimes if you put it above, you can see better. Oops. Sorry guys. Let me get this figured out here. So you can see that the CRKT does have a bit of blade length compared to the others, and maybe a slight handle length. But yeah. There we go. Sorry about that. Hope that didn't make anybody motion sick. So they are kind of a mid-size knife, and as I say, you can get the larger one, which I think is closer to 8.5 inches long, between 8 and 8.5 inches, so it does give you a bit of extra length. Probably the only thing I didn't really like about this knife is it is assisted opening as well. I forgot to mention that, flipper assisted. And so it is a little stiff. You can't do the drop close on it, so it's not a great fidget knife in that way. Excuse me, although it is a one-handed knife. You can open and close it one-handed. But it's a stiff, like you got to give it a good push to activate the assisted opening, which is probably a good thing because you don't want it popping open in your pocket. But I'm thinking if they had just made this a flipper opening, for me, it would have been a lot smoother and a lot nicer. I'm not a huge fan of assisted opening. I don't really have a big reason why I don't like assisted opening, but I'm just not a huge fan. I will take an assisted opening knife, don't get me wrong, but I prefer just the manual opening. And so my only complaint really with that is it is a bit stiff and not the easiest to maybe get open. I'm pretty sure it'd be a lot smoother, like I say, if it didn't have the assist on it. But that aside, it is a decent knife and easy to hang on to. You got good grip on it and that. So yeah, it's a decent knife. You could easily have this as an everyday carry knife and use it. Be good for slicing things. You got the nice slim blade on it, and so it'd slice through things quite well and just be a good knife that you should be able to hang on to it quite well because the grip is pretty good on there. So yeah, that is the CRKT LCK Plus. So check them out. They're fairly reasonable. You can get them on sale at different sporting stores and make them a decent budget EDC. And yeah, I think you'd be pleased with them. So CRKT LCKT Plus. Thank you for joining me on this review. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and leave a comment. Be doing another knife in a few more days. Until then, you stay safe and stay sharp.